are bewildered by black people, that power somehow is naturally associated with white folk. That power and the pursuit of power is something sinful. However, we must recognize that power is essential to life. Like a battery, without power, we are dead. We're unable to function. We're unable to enhance our lives or to even protect our lives. So a people who do not develop power, who cannot exercise power, are a people who are ultimately headed for genocide and death. So we are going to look at that and look in a practical way as to how we should gain power and what power we already have. Because to a great extent, we are not a powerless people. That's the reason why I use the word relative. We are not aware of the power that's in our hands. We are unconscious of our power. And to a great extent, in our ignorance, we give power to others. We are like the Israelites who threw their gold rings and gold of various types into the melting vat to make a golden calf, a golden god, then kneel down to worship it, and perceived it as having power over them. African people with the wealth of the world at their feet, with minds and bodies second to none, have given that power and that wealth over to another people, made that people powerful, and now are on their knees in front of those people, begging for salvation and begging for jobs and begging for food and begging for their very lives. The white man is a god that we have made. And the white man is a god that we must destroy. Why and how is it possible for us to be the second largest congregation of people on this earth, to number probably approaching 1 billion people, only outnumbered perhaps by the Chinese, to be ruled over by a fraction of the earth's population? How is it possible that you can starve over land that contains mineral wealth and all other kind of wealth? How is it that you can see yourself dependent when other nations such as Japan and European nations depend on your wealth? And this nation depended and still depends to a great extent on your labor and your productivity. How is it that this was twisted around so that those who depend are seen as independent and those who support are seen as dependent? We can only be in this situation because our consciousness has been turned backwards, has been falsified, because our consciousness has been twisted and bent out of shape. Ultimately, we recognize that power and wealth does not come from a people's land. They do not come from your land. If wealth and power came from land, then African people should be the wealthiest and most powerful people on earth today. That's not the case. power is contained in consciousness, not in land, not in trees, not in minerals, but in your mind. In fact, I have said somewhat facetiously that perhaps Africa and African people would be better off had we not had gold in our lands and not had minerals in our lands. And why do I say that? Because perhaps we would have been forced more to use our minds and create our consciousness for gaining wealth and power. That's all the Japanese have. Mind. Consciousness. Because, you know, when you got a mind and you're a bit clever, you can con a joker out of his land. You can make him give up his gold. You know, yeah. You can use words. You can take a book. You know, say, this is the holy book. You know, or this is, you know, and just con him. He'll hand you the land. He'll hand you the gold. Here it is. You can have words, and the ability to use words and to manipulate words and make people take billions of dollars the way you do African American people, and they can't wait to give it to white folks. That's right. Yes. They'll kill to give it to white folks. They'll sell drugs to give it to white folks. Yes. Yes. They will kill for a pair of Nike sneakers. A pair of sneakers that do not cost any more than about $4 to manufacture. Yes. Yes. A pair of sneakers for which Indonesian women are paid $1.35 a day to manufacture. Pairs of sneakers for which the $20 million which was paid Air Jordan could have paid the whole Indonesian workforce that made them. Understand what I'm saying? And a fellow will go out and kill to get them. Rob and steal. Destroy nations and communities. Why? Because of the consciousness that has been created in them by another people. That's why you have to first seek ye the kingdom of your consciousness before you do anything else. Yeah. For ultimately, the power of man is the power of mind. That's what distinguishes us. The ability to eat, sleep, and do all those other things we share with the rest of with the rest of nature. But consciousness, human consciousness, is a distinguishing factor. And it's very important then that we come to understand